Guys, the amount of attacks that I've seen over the last few days levied against Tim Scott from the Democrat Party and those on the left has been absolutely disgusting. It has been nothing short of vitriol and pure hate. Okay? They are hating on my guy, Tim Scott, right? Because he is a conservative in America who happens to be black. And for whatever reason, it is a crime to be conservative and black in America because these guys have really come out the closet when it comes to how they really feel about black conservatives in America. Okay? We've seen celebrities like Joy Behar come out and try to lecture Tim Scott on racism in America as if she knows better than him in regards to that topic. We've seen Jimmy Kimmel do sketches in which he's mocking Tim Scott. Okay, mocking Tim Scott because of his comments about how America's not a racist country. Now, we're seeing this type of rhetoric come straight from the horse's mouth, coming straight out of the Democrat Party, as a Texas Democrat official faces demands to resign for calling Tim Scott an Oreo. And guys, if you don't know what an Oreo refers to a black person who is black on the outside, obviously referring to black skin, and white on the inside, which refers to how they carry themselves and how they act. And guys, I'm gonna tell you, this idea of an Oreo is detrimental to the black community, and it's part of the reason why the black community is not as successful as we should be. Okay, because essentially it tells black people don't embrace the traits that are gonna make you successful. Okay, and I'm gonna get more into this idea of an Oreo later in this video, but first let's talk about this Democrat from Texas who revealed himself to be the racist that he really is. A Texas Democratic official is facing calls to step down from his role after he called Senator Tim Scott a racial slur. Quote, I had hoped that Scott might show some common sense, but it's clear that he is little more than an Oreo with no real principles. Lamar County Democrat Party Chair Gary O'Connor wrote in a now deleted Facebook post referring to Scott's rebuttal to President Biden's congressional address on Wednesday. Representative Pat Fallon, a Republican from Texas, whose district includes Lamar County, located in northeast Texas, eviscerated O'Connor for his comments on Friday in a press release. Fallon called the slur, which refers to a black person who is perceived as acting white, quote, unforgivable. Gary O'Connor comments against Senator Tim Scott as inherent, insulting, and unforgivable. Both he and the entire Lamar County Democratic Party should be ashamed of themselves of this racist behavior, said Fallon. The first-term congressman called on O'Connor to apologize and step down immediately for his racially charged comment slur, and asked the Texas Democratic Party and the NAACP to condemn these words. Fallon also said the party should take swift action to censure him. The Texas Democratic Party didn't immediately return Fox News' request for comment. This kind of behavior is not tolerable in Texas, the United States, or any political party, Fallon said. Now, like I said, guys, the Democrat Party have shown themselves to be the racists that they really are, right? And the irony is crazy because, again, they claim to be the ones that are not racist. They claim to be the ones that are fighting against racism. But, you know, again, when a black man speaks their mind and he says something that is not in line with their rhetoric, he gets racial slurs thrown at him like Uncle Tom and Oreo. But again, they try to tell you that they're not racist. So, Tim Scott has heard these comments, okay? And he went on Hannity to respond and give his thoughts on the disgusting attacks that are being levied against him. Take a look.
The left has lost their mind today. It's really saddening to see that what the left is doing is fighting bigotry with bigotry, and they've exposed their hypocrisy, and their true motivation has nothing to do with ending prejudice. It has everything to do with claiming or getting more power. I've never seen such a power grab and using people in such a despicable way. It is really disheartening to see the left's response, and frankly, even Twitter's response to racism and racial slurs. If it comes from the left, it must be okay according to Twitter's response 12 hours later. But thanks to your viewers for going to votetimscott.com. Thank y'all so much. That really made a difference because Lindsay's right. the next several months, if not the next 2 years of my life, will be standing in the gap for what we know as traditional American values. We love people, not parties. We love the content, not the color. Our nation stands in greatness because we fought back against those darker angels, and we believed, frankly, in the better angels. I wish the Democrats, who always feign or virtue signal, would take a look in the mirror and ask themselves, would they put up with that from anyone other than themselves? And if you won't police yourselves, don't look to the other side.
So all right, guys. So I thought that was a great job from Tim Scott, right? He responded in a way that was professional, right? And he basically called it what it is. It's a power grab. The Democrats on the left, they don't really care about black people. They don't really care about ending racism in this country. What they really care about is just power. And they use black people in order to get power. That's it. That's all they want. Okay? And let's talk about this idea of an Oreo, right? You're black on the outside, but you're white on the inside because you have certain characteristics or because you act a certain way. Okay? Now, I'm not sure if you guys remember, but this infographic was released by the National Museum of African American History and Culture, in which they talk about the aspects and assumptions of whiteness and white culture in America. Okay? And they're going to assign traits to whiteness and white culture that leads to success in this country. And I think that this type of infographic outlines exactly why the black community can't get ahead, because we're constantly being told that the things that you need to do and how you need to behave in order to get ahead is associated with being white. Therefore, you shouldn't do them, which again is holding the black community behind. And this is something that is perpetuated by the Democrat Party and the left, which again tells you everything you need to know about their game plan, which is just to maintain power and control over the black community. And they will be as racist as they have to be in order to do that. So let's read a little bit more here. White dominant culture or whiteness refers to ways white people and their traditions, attitudes, and ways of life have been normalized over time and are now considered standard practices in the United States. And since white people still hold most of the institutional power in America, we have all internalized some aspects of white culture, including people of color. All right, so let's see what they define as white culture. Rugged individualism. The individual is the primary unit. Self-reliance, independence and autonomy, highly valued, plus rewarded. Individuals assumed to be in control of their environment. You get what you deserve. So apparently being self-reliant, which is something that Booker T. Washington, okay, one of the OG black conservatives in this country, in American history, preached self-reliance. That was his whole thing. Apparently self-reliance is associated with whiteness, according to, again, the National Museum of African American History and Culture. And being individualistic, assuming that you get what you deserve, you get what you work for. Apparently, only white people can think this way. They also talk about family structure, right? They talk about the nuclear family. The father, mother, 2.3 children is the ideal social unit. Husband is the breadwinner and head of household. Wife is the homemaker and subordinate to the husband. Christian children should have their own rooms and be independent. Again, this sounds like the opposite of what Black Lives Matter is pushing. The same group that the Democrats are aligned with. It's the exact opposite. Black Lives Matter believes in deconstructing the nuclear family. Okay? Having women take care of our kids and taking the man out of the household. You don't need the man. Okay? Apparently, having the man be the head of the household and be the breadwinner and to be the preacher, provider, and protector, apparently that's associated with whiteness. Having a mother and father is associated with whiteness. Okay? That's what they're saying. These, again, guys, are traits that are going to lead to success in this society, and they're saying that only white people can have these traits. Poisonous. Poisonous. Okay? This one right here is particularly damning. Emphasis on scientific method, objective, rational, linear thinking, cause and effect relationships, quantitative emphasis. Wait, so objective, rational, linear thinking is associated with whiteness? So a black person who thinks objectively and is rational that understands cause and effect relationships and a quantitative emphasis is white. So you're saying that black people should not be rational. They should not be objective. They shouldn't understand cause and effects, and they shouldn't be quantitative. You're saying that only white people can be this way. This is textbook racism. Textbook racism coming from the African American Museum of Culture and History. This is where it's coming from. And this is what they're telling black people in this country. They also talk about history. Based on Northern European immigrants experienced in the United States, heavy focus on the British Empire, the primacy of Western Greek, Roman, and Judeo-Christian tradition. Majority are black people in this country not Christian? Because there are a ton of black people in this country. I would say a lot of black people, particularly in the South, are very religious. They're very conservative. Okay? Is history, American history in particular, not based on the British Empire and what the British Empire did and Northern European immigrants coming to the United States? Is the United States history not based on that? Now, obviously, black people can feel free to learn whatever they want about Africa. If they want to learn about African history, there's no problem with that. But to say that it's white to believe in the facts of history is really ridiculous. Okay? It's really ridiculous. This is what they want you to believe. And then finally, which probably is the worst, honestly, besides the scientific method here, hard work is the key to success. Work before you play. If you didn't meet your goals, you didn't work hard enough. So apparently working hard is associated with whiteness according to these people. Working hard, putting in the work. Guys, how terrible is this? It is terrible that we're telling black people in this country that all the traits that you need to succeed in this country, to be successful in corporate America, to be successful as an entrepreneur, to be successful as a capitalist in this country, a capitalist country, is associated with whiteness. When you have Africans who come over here who happen to be people of color, people of dark skin color, who are very successful in this country, and they're some of the most conservative people in this country, right? You don't think that they believe in a nuclear family? You don't think that they believe in rational thinking? Okay? You don't think they believe in hard work? That's why they're succeeding. So are they white? Are they embracing white culture because they have these traits? Yeah, that's an interesting. That's why I want to ask these people. Look at the Asian community. You don't think Asians value working hard? You don't think they value the family? And like I said, guys, particularly the most damaging one here is the one about rational, scientific, objective thinking. You know, these immigrant groups, they tell their kids, you have to be a doctor, lawyer, or engineer. That's what they tell their kids. Fields that require rational, objective thinking. That's what they tell their kids. All these other immigrant groups value all these things. And they come over here and they be very successful. But at the same time, you have Democrats and leftists telling black people that these traits that make you successful are associated with just whiteness. Think about it. They're saying that you ain't black if you believe in hard work, if you believe in a nuclear family, if you believe in rational thinking. You have to be irrational. You have to believe in a single parent household. You have to believe in not working hard, or else you ain't black, right? Those are the traits of black people. That's what you're saying subconsciously. That's the only logical conclusion that I would get from an infographic like that. And guys, this is the reason why Black America is not as successful as we should be. It's because we're being told that the things that we should do to make us successful, such as individualism, hard work, rational thinking, okay, value in the family, is bad, right? You're being white if you believe in this. When we know that no matter whether you're black, white, Asian, Hispanic, whatever, right? Whatever community you're a part of in America, if you don't embrace these values that I would call traditional American values that are colorblind, you're not going to be successful in this country. And when Democrats tell black people that they should not embrace these values that are going to make them successful, that is why the liberal/progressive ideology is poisonous to the black community. They're actively telling black people to do things that are not going to make them independent of the government and the Democrat agenda. Because if you became independent, if you embrace individualism, if you embrace objective thinking, if you embrace the nuclear family, you wouldn't need them anymore. You wouldn't need them. And they can't have that. And like Tim Scott said, it's all about power. This is why the Oreo analogy is so detrimental. This is why when you tell a black person that, carries themselves in a professional way, that uses decent grammar, speaks proper English, has their pants pulled up, that has goals and aspirations in life, when you tell them that they're acting white, which is something that kids say all the time in school, okay? It hurts. It directly goes against the best interest of the black community. Because you're trying to, now at this point, you're incentivizing kids to act in ways that's not going to lead to success. And that is why I hate this Oreo analogy. That's why I hate it. I hate when people associate traits that are good, that are going to be successful with whiteness. Why do you do that? For these people that claim to hate white folks so much, why do you associate all the good things with whiteness? Why don't you start associating these traits with blackness? No, black people love capitalism. No, black people love to work hard. Black people love rational thinking. We're objective. Black people love the nuclear family, right? Black people are deeply religious. We care about education. We value academics. These are all the stereotypes that are put on other communities, like the Asian community. They get those stereotypes, those good stereotypes. Black people get the bad stereotypes. And they wonder why we have so many problems. Look at the culture. Look at the mentality. Look what we're being told to embrace. We have to start associating good habits with the black community. And until we start doing that, nothing's going to change. As long as we have low expectations for black folks, we're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. And the left will be glad to perpetuate that because they don't want black people to go anywhere. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.